All right, let's see if it works this time. I can see bars now. Okay, I'm going to share this on Facebook because why not? Um, sure, but if I can freaking post to Facebook, trying to test out the new the new stuff. Log in this. Okay, I'll just do Facebook for now. Okay. Anyway, I think that it finally worked. Just to see, I'm testing out this new mic that I got recently, and I think it sounds better. But silly me, I'm trying to do this brief little hangout before I watch Game of Thrones here, Q&A. I think a couple people were watching before, but I think a couple failed options. I'm like, wait a minute, I adjusted the settings. Why isn't it reading the mic? And then I'm like, I forgot to turn it on. This is what happens when you rush things, people. But as I was saying before, I'm kind of not used to the new streaming. I guess that Google Hangouts, the old one, is officially done at the moment. I know that, well, Google Hangouts is still a thing. Like, people can still hang out, but I tried to get a couple of the Phantom Group people on here, like I think Kai and Walking Double O Dead and Anime Hero. And I guess you can do Hangouts, but you just can't put it on live for people to watch. So I don't know if there's a good alternative to that. But anyway, in the meantime, if people want to come in and ask questions, and if not, I'll just kind of randomly talk to myself for about 45 minutes and go through some news events. So hopefully for your entertainment and information or whatever. So I'm going to go through here. Kevin Feige says Spider-Man: Far From Home will end the MCU Phase 3, not Endgame. So, all right. So I guess that basically confirms one theory that Far From Home is going to be potentially a sequel to Endgame, which there was this big debate about whether or not it takes place before or after, which I'm like, well, it could take place before, but once we see Endgame finish, I'm like, well, Spider-Man's going to be back either way. So it's cool. I'm really looking forward to Far From Home. I really enjoy Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I think he's that great balance of the character, both in and out of the mask. I think a lot of people agree with that. He's got the youth. He's got the humor. He seems like young Peter Parker. I think he's good. I know Tom Holland's got a penchant, I guess, for spoiling a lot of the movies, so they remove pieces of the scripts. But I'm very excited for Endgame. Comes out this week, so there'll probably be a review on the channel with that. A couple people will be seeing that with me. I think Troll and I are planning to see that. So let's see what else they got here. If I don't notice you right away, I'm just in the news. So hang out and put your comments in, I guess. Some stuff about NCIS, which is always on. I don't know if that show is ever going to end. Keanu Reeves showed off his motorcycle because I guess he's into motorcycles. So that's probably just talking about how cool John Wick is. Basically it's not only working as a vehicle for promoting John Wick 3, which Parabellum, which essentially is what it is, or John Wick versus the world, as we call it. But just to show that I guess Keanu Reeves is a pretty cool guy who also likes motorcycles. So I didn't actually watch that video, but I'm sure it's a cool bike. Ryan Reynolds wraps The Hitman's Bodyguard 2. I don't know what that is. It's a sequel to Hitman's. Game of Thrones, Isaac Hempstead. Wright has a hilarious explanation for Brian's intense stare. I'm sure it's hilarious, but he's just an intense person. Sometimes these articles are just very, very, reaching in terms of what can considered to be news, not just in entertainment, but I think in general. Sometimes I'm looking at these and I'm like, literally, like sometimes I think there's interesting things, but it's like it's all rumors and hearsay mostly. It doesn't really count as news. Like, I think stuff about the development, what people have to say behind the scenes, if there are no spoilers, counts as news. Events that could happen with the actors and the crew, I guess, interviews, reviews after the film comes out, what happens, and then maybe fan reactions. I consider that all to be entertainment news, but sometimes they're reaching when it's slow. Lion King director Jon Favreau promises it'll surprise audiences. I wasn't really initially that interested in that movie because I think somebody, maybe it was Cosmonaut Variety Hour, was like kind of a very photorealistic looking lions and animals might take you a little out of the cartoony nature of the original movie. But I don't know. It looks really good. Like, it's just amazing what they can do with the technology now. Like, I really enjoyed Jungle Book, actually more than the original animated film, which I know is maybe controversial to some people, but I was never like the biggest Jungle Book fan. So that was surprising. This one and Aladdin, I'm kind of interested in. There's a lot of big Disney related things coming out this year, and I'm going to swing back over to the control room to see Crazy boy. Sup, endgame hype. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Uh, hype. I'm excited for it too, man. How you doing? How you doing, buddy? Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Feel free to send in questions or comment on the news that I randomly go through here. I haven't seen Shazam yet. I've heard a lot of good things about it. Mark Strong played Dr. Savannah, which is pretty cool. They didn't go for Black Adam right away, so I guess they're hoping for a sequel. I think some people have been saying that's the best DC movie so far. I really liked Wonder Woman, but I know it wasn't perfect. I think Shazam looked like it was a lot of fun, so I think that's definitely possible. Captain Marvel fans, I know that made a lot of money. There was that controversy about that, but I rather enjoyed Captain Marvel quite a bit. I think you can check out our review. A couple of us saw it, talked about it. It was pretty good. You know, it wasn't like the best. It was decent. Oh yeah, and of course, I didn't talk about the trailer for Star Wars: Rise of the Skywalker, which I guess that could be Kylo Ren. It could be Rey. There's not really too many options at this point. I think it's kind of funny they have to backpedal, and my guess is Abrams is gonna probably not just completely wipe the slate clean and kind of ignore everything in the last movie because that would be lazy. And there was a lot of stuff, for better or worse, that really did shock people and got people talking. And it did try to do something different. It did try to kind of go beyond our expectations. So, I think he's going to probably build on it, but also maybe circle back to some original things he wanted to do. So hopefully, who knows? Maybe depending on how this new movie is, it will really cause people to look back at The Last Jedi and maybe we'll appreciate it more. Because if I remember correctly, Empire Strikes Back, which is now considered the most beloved Star Wars film, really wasn't that popular when it first came out because it's interesting how the emotions of the audience at the time really factors in. People really loved the first movie for being so adventurous and fun and, just kind of lighthearted. And then the first one just got real, got really dark and brought a whole new edge of realism to the fantasy. And a lot of people didn't like that at first. And now they look back on it, it's like the best Star Wars movie, pretty much. Most people would say that. It's just widely considered to be the best made, if not your personal favorite. It's one of those things where, not to go off on a Star Wars tangent now, but I feel like I could very easily. Growing up, I don't know people in the chat, what you guys think, but please let me know. I think for a long time as a kid, Return of the Jedi was probably my favorite. And I guess it still is, maybe for nostalgic purposes. I guess technically it might not be the most competent of the original three. Like most people say it's the weakest, and maybe it is, but it's still my favorite. I like the Ewoks, but I just like the fact that Luke really came into his own and Jabba the Hutt's there. But really, I like the culmination. I like the ending. And I find that typically in trilogies, I either like the beginning where you establish people or the end when things wrap up. The middle one can be a bit iffy, though ironically, something like The Dark Knight everybody loves. Sometimes it works out that way. But anyway, not perfect, but I think I really liked the Return of the Jedi, mostly because I love those scenes on the second Death Star with Vader and Luke and Palpatine, the whole dynamic between good and evil and the temptation of the dark side. And I just loved, I love the dialogue. I love the editing. I love the lighting. The music. There's just so much great stuff. So I feel like even if I were to say that I think that that's probably the weakest of the original trilogy, I still feel like those scenes are just so well executed. And the Emperor is so fun. So when I saw that when I heard that laugh at the end, I'm like, that's cool. Maybe he is a clone of Snoke, because I like those type of villains. I was sad about what happened to Snoke. I was thinking that was kind of disappointing. So turns out if there's a way to tie them back in, I'm fine with that. I know Abrams likes to go back to the nostalgic elements of things, but hey, I'm down for that. I'm not, like I said, I'm not as excited about Star Wars as I used to be, because like for years and years there's just been so much of it. You really can't, catch a breath, it feels like. And I think that the studios are even learning, hey, let's not pump it out every year. Let's build up to it. So we'll see. But I've been watching Star Wars Rebels and I've been liking that. Let's see. I haven't seen Shazam nor Alita yet. Captain Marvel's pretty bland. Yeah, Captain Marvel was okay. Alita, I haven't seen either. I was curious about it. It looked decent. I heard mixed things about it. Okay, now you can hear me. Like a real man. Like a real man, Luke's motivation in the first movie. I like how you can really monitor the comments now. So I guess if I found that offensive, I could flag you for that, I guess. But you're not wrong. That's funny. Yeah, you're right. His motivation was to get the girl. You know, the standard Joseph Campbell hero's journey. Luke was to grow and get the princess. They did obviously switch the trope by making Leia a strong woman who kind of could take care of herself and really took over the situation once they were going in, ended up rescuing them. So yeah, but you're right. That was ironically his first motivation, which makes you realize it probably wasn't all planned out to begin with. Because then it got kind of awkward. Never talked about it. But yeah, his motivation was, well, no, I mean, that's simplifying it. Luke's motivation was definitely partially that, but he wanted to be the hero. He wanted to be the good guy. Like there's a woman in danger, a political figure, a leader. He wants to, fight back against the Empire because, like you said at the beginning, he didn't really love him, but he didn't really have a personal stake in the fight. They go after him and they burn his house down. They burn his aunt and uncle like alive, practically disintegrate them. Like still the most horrific thing in Star Wars, by the way. Like people, I think that's undersold. Like that is just see the charred bones. I'm like, man, So no, his motivation was a little more personal. It was kind of like I wanted to make more of myself. I want to see more of the galaxy. I want to get off this planet, but I also want to do good. I want to work with this older gentleman who knew my father, learn more about my past, figure out who I am. Pretty standard stuff, right? All pretty universal. One of the reasons why I think Star Wars is so beloved, stuff like that. But also that it's kind of they don't really. I really wish they did build up a little bit on that. I guess it was like his family was murdered. He's like they don't talk about that, but he has a personal reason from the first movie to hate the Empire because he saw what they could do firsthand just because they were looking for something. So in that moment, he's horrified. He's like, oh, like really? Then he got over it. So maybe not the strongest thing there, but he was sad. He's just kind of like shocked, but he did get over it pretty quickly. The real man part of my comment would have pissed off so many people on Twitter. You aren't allowed to say that anymore. Oh, you're talking about like, you're talking about like gender politics and stuff. I know what you mean, and I mean maybe Hero can weigh in here with because I mean his whole thing is about like manliness, and I think that's an interesting. And I have to actually ask you, Hero, about that because I've wondered in this time with the way your channel is and what it's focused on. You like that '80s hyperbolic, super masculine, macho entertainment, and you kind of like the visual style and the themes of what it represents. But I mean, I think if you look through your video list, you can see different expressions of that for people that obviously check out his channel. But the idea of like what manliness is and what masculinity is, I think, is an interesting topic. A real man, I think. I mean, if you want to be politically correct, I guess you could say like, I don't know, just like a brave person, a strong person, because if you say real man, I guess some people can imply like, oh, so you're saying that a real man is, tough or does this and that. There's these preconceived ideas of what a man is supposed to do, which can be very dangerous to our society, to be completely honest. That's what I mean. Like, so for Luke, and that's why I like Leia as a good example, as a counterpoint to that. Like, she is the woman of the story, but you could argue in the first movie, she's more competent than anybody. Really, she's the leader. She saves them. So, like, is that inherently masculine? No, it's just the quality of a good person. It's just a real man, real woman. I guess, I mean, there are these ideas we traditionally think of as feminine or masculine, but I think, yeah, it's kind of one of those things that if you said that, I know what you mean. I don't think you should get super offended by it, but it is kind of an offshoot of potentially deeper problems. Like, like for instance, if a man like cries about something and like, oh man, hold it in. And how many people are upset about things, hold it in, and then bad things happen to them and other people because they feel like they can't show weakness. That causes all kinds of problems from abuse, violence, crime. Oh, absolutely. So not to go off on a tangent about that, it's like, I know what you mean. And I'm perfectly fine with it, but who knows if there were more people in here and somebody got mad about it. But I think most of the people on my channel understand where I'm coming from, and people that follow along, they're probably like, they look at things a different way, and they're all about the analysis and commentary and kind of looking beyond the standard, cliches. So I think most people on here wouldn't get too offended. I've gotten more trouble from the girl womanly characters rather than the manly stuff. Is that because of the visual style of that, or like the womanly thing? I always liked that womanly. That was your way of dealing with it. Was getting around that was womanly. Like exactly, it's the same concept, but just for women. So yeah, I was always perfectly fine with that. Honestly, I guess I'll post that on Facebook. Get a few people in here while I still can. But yeah, have I seen Shazam? No, I just said that earlier. I have not seen Shazam yet. Been told I should get on it. Several people I know have seen it. Heard it was really fun. Did you like it, Yagan? I mean, I heard it was good. I it's kind of one of those ones where it's like, if girlfriend wants to see it, it's a lot easier to do because we can correlate our time and go out and see it. And she's really into the Marvel movies. DC movies have pretty much burned us. You know, they're very mixed. They're like the last couple have been schlogs to get through. I liked Wonder Woman, but so I knew Shazam looked fun, but I just was like, I didn't care enough. I'm not a huge fan of Captain Marvel, as I would call them, or Shazam. But I mean, I'll see it eventually. If not in theaters, I'll see it eventually. But I will be seeing Endgame probably, John Wick 3, New Godzilla, uh, Toy Story 4, probably a couple other ones. Spider Man, definitely. Your favorite DCU movie, and that's really good. Nice. I'll check it out. Yeah, definitely. Let me know what you liked about it. But yeah, send in more thoughts, comments. I'm going to keep going through news. I think I've got like another 25 minutes or something. Chris Hemsworth is open to return to Thor after Avengers Endgame. Well, I hope so. Star Trek Discovery was referencing Captain Kirk. Yeah, I haven't been watching season 2 of Star Trek Discovery, but my one buddy's probably gonna let me watch it once he gets it on DVD because I watched the whole first season recently and I thought it was okay. I liked the episodes with Harry Mudd with Rainn Wilson, but beyond that, I don't know. So I'm gonna click out of this one. See what great article Screen Rant has. The director of Bad Boys 3 left to creative clashes with Will Smith. So Bad Boys 3, they should just get Michael Bay to do it. I'm surprised he's not doing it. That's like his bread and butter. I saw a really good video, I think it's by Patrick H. Williams, about how Michael Bay is like one of the only true auteur directors in Hollywood because love him or hate him, he really makes movies for himself that he wants unapologetically. And they might not be the smartest, deepest, highbrow movies, but you know what to expect. Let's see. Some horror movie. Oh, yeah, Mark Hamill's going to be voicing Chucky. I just found out about that the other day. I saw the trailer. I'm like, that works really well. Like, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's a shame that the other gentleman, I forget his name. Brad Dourif, is it? Love that guy. One of my favorites from Dune. He was, what was his name? Wow, I'm stumped here. Wait a minute. Through for Hawat. Wow, that's really bad. Piter DeVries. Yes, Piter, the Mentat. Yes, but he was he's got a voice Chucky. That actually intrigues me enough because I was never a huge Child's Play fan, but that alone gets me interested just because of the voice talent. That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, I'm going to be watching Game of Thrones here. I'm still catching up on The Flash slowly but surely. I don't know who this purple speedster is, so I'm going to not read that for spoilers. I'm like in season 2 right now, so I've been seeing him combat against Zoom. So that's been pretty cool. I've been liking Zoom. Found out the twist about him. Oh, shoot. Let's see. It was the poor choice of words when I did the Ron Morrow character. I was to say stuff like masculine feminism to describe Ron Morrow. Yeah, I could see how that could get you in trouble. It's kind of contradictory. Thoughts on the new Joker movie trailer? Oh, I think it looks awesome. I'm actually really interested in it. I think it looks like an artsy kind of straight drama with the Joker in it. I think it looks interesting. I think Joaquin Phoenix is a really capable actor, and I think we could get some really interesting stuff from that. Let's see. Better main character, Yusuke Urameshi or Goku in terms of character development? Man, it's been a while since I've got one of these questions. I guess with Super that adds dimensions. I think Goku is a character that definitely has development. Definitely has grown a bit. I mean, I think some of the decisions in Super kind of make him backtrack a bit. But the cool thing about Goku, unlike pretty much just about any other major shonen character, I think that some of them have time skips, and I guess JoJo to some extent, but really kind of uniquely, you see Goku from childhood up to adulthood. You follow him through his whole life. So I think that's a very unique form of development. But Yusuke is probably the more interesting character by comparison. Little off topic, but Shredder has shown to in Rise TMNT he's been interpreted as a demon shrouded in armor. Villains have to collect pieces of his armor to resurrect him. Oh, of course, gotta gotta do the collect the different pieces for the ancient artifact. Oh, that's classic right there. Yeah, how's that show been here? I haven't check it out yet, but I always like to have a good interpretation of the Shredder. Very important. Let's see. Talking about? Oh yeah, that's right. The creator of Lupin, I think, passed away recently. Just found out about this Monkey Punch. That was pretty sad, but he was pretty up there. But yeah, that's just like wow. I don't know if he was still doing Lupin. That's like one of the longest running manga. But that's one I got to catch up on. I got to read and watch a lot of Lupin at some point, maybe. But I do like what I've seen. The only anime I've really been watching right now has been the Fruits Basket remake, which has actually been pretty good. It's been pretty well animated so far. Which is why I'm in the anime section and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Bungo Stray Dogs? Earth Defense Force. Oh yeah, there's a new video game. Apparently you like fight kaiju monsters and stuff. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna click out of this because I just don't know. Let's see. A Lone Wolf and Cub. Oh, creator of that died too. Also in his 80s. It's a cool comic. I haven't read too much of it, but I like the concept of the story though. For sure. Let's see. Video game stuff. Is Crash Bandicoot John Cena's first song? I don't know. Maybe. Oh, oh man. Oh, excuse me. I've been tired today. Happy Easter for everybody too. Let's see. I need to watch The Blacklist, the show, like with the show, with the TV show. It's a good show. Yeah, I've seen quite a bit of it actually. With Reddington. Let's see. So to get on topic, will Jamie die this episode? I hope they stretch it out longer in the season. To be honest, this first. I'll be honest. I know. Okay, personally for me, I think Game of Thrones probably should have been done a while ago. Like last season, stuff finally started happening, but I was like, okay, we could wrap this up soon. Like like the last episode last week was just like it wasn't good, but it was all set up. It was all jokes. I'm like, nothing really happened. So hopefully more stuff will happen this night. I recommend the new Doro remake. Dororo remake. I'll check it out. I don't know if I saw the original. The chapters were always translated. The scans from the licensed out of print manga. But yes, I was surprised people posted up. Oh, you guys, never mind. I'm in that conversation. Which series flopped more on its themes and storytelling? Naruto and Bleach. These little chestnuts. Flopped. It's I have to confess that those are both shows that I kind of fell off like pretty early on. Like I kind of consistently kept up like really after the point that they were most interesting for me. Like I always said Bleach was really good in that first arc and a lot of stuff happened, but it got overly stretched out and then kind of backpedaling and making stuff these go along, which I just feel like is very similar to a lot of manga like that. Naruto, I seem to have a lot of the same problems. But I think Naruto probably stuck closer to its themes and storytelling based upon what I've seen. It seemed consistent. And also you've got the sequel with Boruto, which I guess probably fills in some gaps. I've heard some people like that. I mean, honestly, I think in that sense, it's got a little bit more of a legacy. Whereas Bleach, I honestly think kind of lost a lot of momentum once it lost focus with Ichigo. But that's just how I look at it. Or will he be forgiven if he reveals that Cersei betrayed the North? I like James. I don't know. I like his development, so I'd hope so. I was bummed about Monkey Punch passing. Yeah, you should do a video for him here. That'd be awesome. That'd be really awesome, actually. I look forward to that. I request that if you have the time. The author of Lone Wolf and Cub. Yep, I saw that. Boruto is trash. I have not seen one episode. I'm not super invested in Naruto, like I said. So, hey, but I know people that like it. So, if you like it, all the power to you. Like I said, I've been watching Fruits Basket with my lady, and that's been pretty good. And I'm interested in catching up on JoJo at some point. I'm excited for One Punch Man, which I think is out now or out soon. And I'm still catching up on My Hero season 5. Wow, season 3. I'm not that far ahead. Wow. You probably wonder, how did you get season 5? No, I'm starting season 3, but I was watching Star Wars Rebels, which took up my time, which I got to finish. Once I do that, I'll probably get back to watching another anime. Kind of been interested in going back and watching some classic stuff like Guyver or something, or trying to go back and maybe watch Robotech or the original Mobile Suit Gundam, which I never finished. Vegeta or Hiei, who has had better development? Ooh, now that's a more interesting question. I'll say Vegeta. And it's not because I'm biased, because I actually really like Hakusho a lot. I think Hakusho is generally a better written show. But Hiei, I always thought was the weakest in terms of development for those characters. I know some people would say Kuwabara because he was in the last arc, but character-wise, I just think that Hiei was always cool, and he definitely had an interesting backstory. I like Hiei. But I think he didn't really go through as much growth as the other characters did. Or maybe Kurama didn't go through as much, but I think compared to Vegeta, who just had a longer arc and just has really transformed more, I think I'd give it to Vegeta, though it's not that big of a difference. But Vegeta, I think, is noticeably more so. I'm glad Laura Bailey came back for Fruits Basket. Yeah, I saw that. That was one thing we were really happy about. Is Honey Lemon was telling me that she showed me the original show because when I was younger, I'm like, I knew that my sister liked it, and it was this classic show, but it was more girly romance harem thing, and I was like, but then I heard it was like a classic, and I watched it. I didn't think it was bad, and like the ending of Fruits Basket, which I know is different from the manga, like it takes this really dark turn. I'm like, whoa, like this got really interesting, and then it ended. I'm like, huh. So I've actually been really liking it. I thought it was pretty cool that most of the original cast came back. So that was pretty awesome. Some of the better Funimation news, and they were all really nostalgic about it. They all really liked the series, and that's always refreshing to see the people involved with it actually liking the source material and knowing it, not understanding it's a classic. Better Funimation news than the Vic Morgana stuff, I guess, which he's suing people now. So that's kind of sad. Oh, Vic. Let's see. Dark Tournament sucks. You don't like the Dark Tournament? I like the Dark Tournament. I liked a lot of the fighting. I don't know if it's my favorite arc. Well, actually, no, I think that's probably my favorite arc. I like Dark Tournament quite a bit. I like Toguro a lot as a villain. I need to go back to anime, trying to finish Transformers and Thundercats. Well, hey, you know what? I'm with you, man. Like literally, I sporadically watch things here and there. I mean, I I watch some random cartoons sometimes if I have downtime, but really just trying to catch up on shows like The Flash. It's pretty much all I'm doing. Sometimes I'll randomly watch stuff like Suits. I never watched Suits before, but I've kind of been into that. Watched the first couple episodes of that, so not super duper into anime as much as I used to be. Sadly, I still want to do like movie reviews and stuff for the channel. If people are interested in hearing me talk about certain movies, I put polls up. I think I might do Akira or something, but we'll see. Avatar: The Last Airbender or Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, better ending for you? They have very similar endings, don't they? They've got the whole beating the final boss kind of as like a Aang's got his with the Fire Lord one-on-one, and then Ed and everybody kind of take down Father. That's actually tough. I think I might give it to Brotherhood only because I think that the ending of defeating the villain's a little more satisfactory. I always kind of thought that the final fight with Ozai was a little anticlimactic, to be honest. But it was still very good. Let's see. Take too long for me to explain over the stream is over. I'll explain. Okay. Both Ed and Aang won through asphalt. I suppose this is true. Thoughts on the reveal of Itachi? Honestly, no. I don't care. to be honest, didn't have much investment, so I didn't really care. Yeah. I think that's actually pretty much for news that I was going to talk about. So I could probably hang out for like another 10 minutes or so. If anybody's got any final comments or questions they want to slide in there. Yeah. Don't know. Should anime and manga take over lessons from Avatar? You mean in terms of just how they did the animation and the stories? I mean, I don't know if they necessarily have to copy it that directly, but in terms of trying to have a bar set for good storytelling, yeah, sure. For that action adventure stuff, why not? Yeah, storytelling, absolutely. I think that Avatar is like kind of I'd say a high bar set, honestly, because I don't know when I think of honestly just really great animated series, I honestly did think Avatar was really up there. So I could agree with that. I think as a definitely a good thing to aim for. So yeah. Um, any other things, people? I'm kind of been talking constantly, so I know I'm thirsty now. So let's see if I can look up something. I don't know. In the meantime, somebody doing fireworks out there for Easter? That's what it sounds like. But yeah, no, Avatar. I think I did a retrospective randomly on that a couple years back. I really like it. I think it's a really good show. Honestly, it's cool. It's really really good show. I didn't watch much of Korra. I remember that when that came out, there was like all this. Oh man, it's not as good as the other one. All the comparisons, but heard some people say it was better. Oh yeah, Code Geass did have like a new season. That's right. Didn't that happen like a couple months ago? Nobody, I don't know. Nobody that I know on here really talked about it. It was pretty quiet. Was it good, bad? It's really weird. Like there isn't like when it comes to anime, there isn't really that much real exposure, I guess. I don't know. I don't know, but it's good. Better villain, Cell or Sensui? Sensui's probably a better villain. But Cell has always been my personal favorite. That depends on the anime or cartoon. Yeah, that's true. Castlevania was great animated series, and Rose of Versailles wasn't the commonplace for anime. Yeah, yeah. I mean, those are two good examples of I think very distinctive anime for their time. Rose of Versailles, I think, was obviously very unconventional for storytelling, and with Castlevania, I actually didn't watch it, but I heard a lot of people, even people that weren't into anime, were really liking it. So that was pretty cool. I mean, I didn't really play the games, so I didn't have. It's one of those things where I'm like, should I watch it or not? But probably should at some point. But I think what Hero's probably trying to say is like, keep an open mind, like never like set your standards for anything too limited because if everything followed the same standard, no matter how good it is, it would eventually be very similar and wouldn't be that interesting. So yeah, keep an open mind, look for different things, and you might be surprised what you find. So people should always be encouraged to try new things and emulate different styles. Not just stick to one, even if one is golden. Because if everything is the same, I think there's only so much room for those type of series, and then it's oversaturated. That's kind of the way it is with you know the big shonen typically. Would you like Goku to see his parents eventually, since he is more and more expecting his Saiyan heritage, especially when he is told Broly to call him? I guess Goku being reunited with his Saiyan parents might be kind of cool. Might be kind of interesting. But I guess Grandpa Gohan in his heart would always be his dad. So I don't know if that's really necessary, but it could be interesting. I did like the fact they were kind of solidifying a bond with Broly. That was pretty cool. Uh, actually, Castlevania isn't an anime. It was drawn in text. It's written by Warren Ellis. Really? So it's not an anime? It looked like an anime. Is it done like it's done in an anime style, I guess? Wow, I straight up thought that was an anime. Really? Wow. The final villain in Dragon Ball Super. Hope somebody new, somebody different, or Cell. Oh man. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I swear, I was like, wow, that's not an anime. Wow, wow. Oh man. Hello, Chemo. Welcome to the party. Not going to be on for too much longer, but here. Hope it's not Frieza. He's been beaten too many times for me to take him seriously. Yeah, I don't know, man. Once again, fan service and talking about predictability, like Frieza again. Really? But from what I saw, I actually thought Frieza was enjoyable. If they made it work, but I do remember I was like, okay, Frieza returns the film for no F, and I thought it was cool he came back in the film. But they brought him in the anime, and then they bring him into the tournament. I'm like, just let Frieza go. And I feel like because of that, Frieza's everybody's favorite villain, and he was always pretty high up there. He was typically number one. I feel like Cell is just getting knocked down. People forgetting about him. Cooler should be canon. Yeah, why not? I mean, with the different universes, maybe it could be. It doesn't feel like an animated, but it definitely feels closer to Hellsing and Berserk. First up, he should hook you in. Well, I like Hellsing and Berserk, so I mean that's probably good praise right there. I thought it was a discussion about Game of Thrones. No, I kind of put that in the title because I'm about to watch Game of Thrones. But Game of Thrones, I'm excited for this episode. There's a bit of an old OVA tone as there is lots of F words. Classic like 80s, 90s OVAs, yeah. Yeah, definitely definitive of the time. Well, on that note, everybody, I know this was kind of brief. It was kind of impromptu, as things typically are, but hopefully, oh, you did? Nice. No spoilers. But yeah, I'm hopefully in the next couple weeks, might be a little more free time. Hoping to do some more podcasts, streams, videos, But thanks everybody for watching, listening. Feel free to let me know comments and suggestions for other videos below. And thank you everybody for joining. I'm gonna end the stream now. All right, hero, everybody, take it easy. And I'm gonna watch this episode of Game of Thrones. So yes.